Hello Stampers, my name is Linda Bedinger and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Denver, Colorado, and this is my buddy Puccini who helps me and keeps me company in the craft room. And we have a very fun card for you today. It's a little bit of a different fold, but very, very simple. And I think you're going to like it. The one I'm doing today is a Feel Better Soon card. So if you know anybody under the weather, this one might work just beautifully. All right, let's just get started. Okay, here is my card. Now this card we did in my team meeting this last month, and it was a card brought to us by Wanda Williams, who's my upline, and she got the card from Melissa Kerman. And Melissa's blog and channels is called Melissa's Treehouse, I think it is, Melissa Kerman. And if you get a chance, go over and look at her blog and her stamping. She is an absolutely very talented stamper and has been doing this for quite a bit of time. And she's in North Carolina. So this is the card that we did, and I'm changing it up just a little bit because the sentiment that I wanted to use is much smaller. So I used a smaller circle here and a stiffer piece here to hold this down so that the card will stay closed a little bit better. And on this one, I'm going to take out my trimmer and show you about folding and scoring this card because it's just a little bit different. So let's see. What we need to make this card is we need a piece of paper that is 4 1/4 by 11. So you cut your sheet the long way right in half. And I'm going to do that so you can see exactly how I did this. So I've got a piece of Gorgeous Grape here, and I did this in exactly the same colors. And so I'm going to set this at 4 1/4 on my trimmer. I think you can see that there. And we're just going to cut that right down the middle. Now, sometimes on these gatefold cards, it's tough to get them to fold so that you get them right up against one another. So I'm going to show you what to do that. This one is 1 7/8 on one side. So we're going to put it on the 1 7/8 mark, and we're going to score it here. And then we're going to turn this around after we score that piece. And instead of putting another score in here, what I'm going to do is to set this up to fold it so that it meets this spot right here in the middle. Now I know that would close absolutely perfectly, and I'm going to take my bone folder and drag it across so that I get where I'm going to be doing this, and then I'm going to use my bone folder to fold it both from the top and the bottom. So there we go. So if you score it this way, then up and then down, and then look at that. It's absolutely perfect fold here to close our card. So that's probably the way I would suggest you do that. Sometimes when you score things, we don't score exactly perfectly, and there's kind of the outside part of the score and the inside part of the score, and this way you'll get a perfect closure every time. All right, so that's what we need. We'll use that card base there. And in fact, I probably need to give this a little bit more of a burnish as well, because I want this to close pretty well. So there we go. All right, then we need a piece of white. I used a 3 3/4 by 5 for the inside, so I could have a nice big border around this with the purple. And then I cut a piece that is 1/2 inch by 3 3/4 inch to do some decorating on the inside. Then we need 3 panels that are 1 7/8. No, 1 5/8, pardon me, 1 5/8 by 4. And we're going to add these panels to the outside of our card like this. And then we're going to space these two. So we'll put one on this margin to match this one perfectly, and then space this one in between to the end of the card. So you need 3 pieces, and I'm using this beautiful from the Cottage Rose Suite, this designer series paper that had the 3 different colors across it. Let me see if I can grab a piece of it. Well, you can see some of it. This one's got the lighter purple and then this blue with a pale purple and these colors here. And what I did was I just cut that strip and then cut it into 3 pieces at 4 inches. Then we need a piece that is 3 inches by 1 inch. And on this one, I made that white. And I thought it might be more interesting if it was the same color as the cardstock on the back. So this is 1 inch by 3 inches, and then I cut a piece to go across here, and we're going to use this circle to close the card here. And I think this is going to be a little stiffer than this one. This little piece of paper is just awfully thin. So this is 3/4 of an inch by 2 3/4 of an inch to go on this mat. Then I used from our layering circles dies these 2 circles, and this first one measures about 2 5/8, and the inside one is the one that measures just a tiny bit under 2, and that was to give me these 2 pieces. And see how that's so much smaller than that. But the sentiment I'm using from the Cottage Rose stamp set is I wanted to do this Feel Better real soon. I have someone that I want to send a card of encouragement and feeling better. So that's the one I'm going to use on this. So this is really so simple put together. I'm going to use my seal, and I am going to add seal to my card and put this on the inside, which will absolutely fit and give it the right amount of margin all the way around it. And then this little piece here, let me grab my silicone mat and my dot runner. I'm just going to add a little bit of snail to this and put this piece down right here on the inside of the card so that I have the same margin all the way down the side. And unless you want to add, the stamping of a rose or some flowers on the inside of this, or another little sentiment on the inside, I mean, this could be fun. It says, feel better soon, and then the inside it could say friends forever, and or best wishes. And so you could add more stamping to the inside if you chose to. All right, so those are the layering dies that I use to make my circles. And then it's simply a matter of adding these panels to the front of this. And this one is kind of fun because that blue and the purple just go so well together. I think it's just so much fun. And so I'm going to add some snail. Should be using my seal on the back of this, and putting this on here so that it's centered on that panel. There we go. Then this one, well, since I started with that one, I'm going to keep it up. This one we're going to set right next to it here so that we leave that same margin top to bottom and along this edge, and get that set in place right there. And then we're going to center this one right in here so that we get that same look. And we're just going to add a little bit of seal to this, or to adhesive, and I'm going to set that one here so that it has the same margin. And then look, isn't that fun? It just opens this way. So just a tiny bit different, sort of a sideways gatefold. Now then, our stamping. I'm going to use my Gorgeous Grape ink, and I've got my stamp mounted here, and it says "Feel Better Soon." So we're going to open up this ink, and we're going to ink up this sentiment until I'm sure I've got it good and inked up. Oops, I got some on the edges. Let's see what happens if I try to take a little bit of that off. I'm all the time telling people to remember to just tap into the stamp, and then I went and pushed it all the way in. So do like I say, not necessarily how I do. So I'm going to do that again, just tap, 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 so I don't get any more on those edges. And the beauty of a circle is there's no wrong way to stamp this. So I'm just going to move this up and put my "Feel Better Real Soon" here on the front of this piece of white. I did get an edge. I'm going to have to do it on the other side. Well, I think maybe what I should do is just clean this whole thing and start over. So I'm just going to use a baby wipe and get all of that ink off of all of those edges there. And then I'm going to tap that back in the purple and try not to get any on those edges, and of course I did. I think that's going to work. All right, so I've got my "Feel Better Soon," and I'm going to stamp that right here on that circle. There we go. And then I'm going to put a little bit of snail on the back of this piece and add it to my Gorgeous Grape mat here. Nope, I think I want it this way. And set that so that it gets in the center. There we go. Just like that. And because this sentiment was a little bit smaller, I felt like I wanted a smaller circle so that the sentiment wouldn't get lost on this big circle. Then we just have to be careful where we put this circle so that it'll act as closure on our card. So, and you could certainly put your message, if you had a different kind of message, like a long happy birthday, on a piece of white on here and do that way. But I wanted mine on the circle. So I'm going to add this little piece of DSP, and right here on this piece, there we go. And then this is going to close my card. So I want my "Feel Better Soon" to be right here so it can tuck underneath and help keep the card closed. So I know that if that's the case, then I can put my dimensionals on this side. So I'm just going to grab some dimensionals and put them down on this side. And I'm going to put more than I might otherwise because this is going to help keep the card closed. And we're going to set that right across here. And set that in place. And then that tells us where we need to put our circle. So on the circle, I'm just going to put 2 dimensionals right in the middle and then add that to the card so this little piece will catch and hold the card closed. So I'm going to set my "Feel Better Soon" right here, and it would have been better if I'd have put that on a little straighter. There we go. "Feel Better Real Soon." And now this mechanism keeps the card closed. And when you open it like this, and then you close it back again. And on this one, I used these new glossy dots assortment because it had the purple in it. And I think that looks fine, but I thought I would change it up on this one. And this is the Waves Basic Jewels, and I thought that might be kind of fun to do in that green, to do something a little bit different. So I'm going to use a medium-sized one here on my message. In fact, I'm going to use two of them, one on the top and then one on the bottom. And then I'm going to dot a few more of these little green rhinestones around on my card. So there we go. That is my project for the day. Thank you so much for stopping by my YouTube channel today. I do so appreciate it. And if you don't already have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, well, I'd love to be your demonstrator. And or you could join my team. It's always a good time to join Stampin' Up! As you get $125 worth of product for $99, and you start out with a 20% discount. So there is my project. Again, thanks so much for stopping by. And you'll have to tell me, I kind of like the dark purple on this, but it'd be kind of fun even to do this green behind there, to pick that color up a little bit. But I have the white, and this piece I didn't make big enough, I don't think. But that is the project for the day, and thank you, Wanda and Melissa, for designing this card and bringing it to our attention. So thanks again, and I will be back soon with more cards, more projects, and more tips. Bye!